A man pulled out a pair of handcuffs. He cuffed his wife to the bed, ready to rekindle their passion. But the 50-year-old got way too excited. Just as he was about to start, he had a heart attack, shaking violently for a moment. He collapsed right on top of her. She used all her strength to lift his body off of her. Instead, he fell hard onto the floor. Her hands were still cuffed to the headboard. So, she yelled for help, but the house was in the middle of nowhere. No one was around to hear her. At first, she thought he was joking, telling him to stop messing around, but he didn't move a muscle. Night was starting to fall, and she'd already cried herself dry. Then, she heard a noise at the door. She called out for help again. The figure got closer. But it turned out to be a stray dog that had snuck in. Its hungry eyes glowed green, and it slowly approached her husband's body. She kicked her legs as hard as she could, yelling at the dog to back off. Desperately struggling, she managed to grab a book from the shelf and threw it with all her strength. The dog finally got scared and ran off. Looking around the room, her eyes landed on the handcuffs. She fought with all her might to slip out of them. Her hands scraped raw from the metal, but luckily, her hands were small enough to squeeze through. Getting one hand out was brutal, but the other one was much easier. Then she broke off a wooden piece from the bed frame, and at last, she was free. So, if it were you, would you have a smarter way out?